Hi and welcome. If you don't know me yet, my name is Kiri and I'm the founder of CoCreate Lexington and a business strategist whose passion is helping women gain clarity, consistency, and confidence to build businesses that fit their lives and have sustainable profit. Today we're going to discuss about why you cannot keep talking to everyone in your marketing. It's kind of a pet peeve around here at CoCreate Lexington. We want you to have a niche, whatever, however you say the word. You can't talk to everyone. It dilutes the message. When you talk to everyone, no one hears you. People want to get to know you. They want to know that you can solve their specific problem. They want to know that you get their problem. We can Google general information on the internet in a matter of seconds. We want details that are specific to us. It also clarifies the content you create. What should you talk about? You need to talk about what matters to your ICA, to your ideal customer avatar. If you don't have an ideal customer avatar, you need to start there. In the link, there should be a link to a worksheet called Your Dream ICA. And I'm going to talk a lot about ICAs in the next coming videos because it's very important that you have a very clear understanding not only of who your ICA is, but what she's thinking, what she's seeing, what she's doing, what she feels, what she's afraid of, what are her pain points. Because when you know those things, then you can get very specific in your content. You get very specific in your offers. You get very specific in talking to her, and she will hear you, and so will others around her. And when you know all these things, it very much clarifies the content you create. Have you ever seen on one of these cooking shows with the competition shows, and they're like, and you have the choice of anything in the pantry, and then they're like, oh, but I don't know, but I could do this, but I could do that, but I could do this, but I could do that. But when they say, okay, you have these 5 ingredients to work with, then all of a sudden they have 1,000 ideas with those 5 ingredients. It comes out very clear. It's not muddled. It's perfect. So it's kind of doing the same thing. Once you have it narrowed down, it may seem like you are narrowing down what you can talk about, but you're actually expanding what you're talking about and making it much easier. But it can be scary. It can be scary to say, okay, I'm only going to talk to women with online service businesses who've been in business for 1 to 3 years and are looking to move their business to the next level. They have revenue but not profit. She's between the ages of 40 and 50. Her kids are getting older. Maybe she's transitioning in her life. And that's probably not even, clear enough. Now, niching down and only talking to one specific person can be scary. And I often get pushback on this. But I like serving this type of person and that type of person and this type of person. Great. I'm not saying you can't serve all those people. But if you try talking to all of those people, no one will hear you. No one will get their message. It will just be muddled and you'll just be another person in a sea of people. So I'm going to give you a very specific example that's based on my mother. Now, I would love to tell you that she took our advice, my advice, and her business grew like gangbusters. Unfortunately, she chose to try to continue to reach everyone, and she got no one. It's really sad. It really is. But this is a great example of how you can niche down and then create content from it, and what happens when you don't. So my mom's a real estate agent who relocated to Charleston, South Carolina about a year or so ago. She's in her early 70s and has mobility issues. She walks with a cane. She's about ready to have her 5th hip replacement. Yes. And Charleston is an area where people are moving to all the time, especially from the Northeast and other parts of the country. It's a place where they come to vacation and then they decide to move there. So my suggestion was that she focus on people needing accessible housing for retirement, specifically people moving from the Northeast, people who are over 55, people who maybe use a cane, use a walker, use a wheelchair or a scooter, but have mobility issues. And if you want to be even more specific, people moving from New Jersey, because she worked in New Jersey, so she's got some connections there. And that is very, very specific, So we're looking at people who are retiring, moving into the area. They have some money. They've sold their houses other places. They've come to Charleston to vacation. They have mobility issues. They're worried about having accessible housing so they can move around their house and not worry about falling or those kind of things. So then for content, she can talk about what parks are accessible, what parks have good sidewalks, what beaches have wheelchairs with big wheels that you can rent, what beaches have great handicap parking, what restaurants have in Charleston have parking lots that have handicap parking, because in Charleston there's not a lot of parking spots if you're going to go downtown and you're having to park on the street, and if your restaurant doesn't have a parking lot, where are you going to go? Ways to save money when remodeling a house, activities in the area for people who are over 55, post about great places to vacation, Airbnbs that have ramps or have shower rails and those kind of things. Show her life with her cane. Show people that she is like them and she gets it. She's not just someone talking about it. She has to worry about going places without stairs. She has to worry about going places where the sidewalks are good. How does that relate back to houses? These are the things you could do. She could know every house in Charleston that has a ramp or could easily be outfitted with a ramp. Go and be the go-to person or go-to source about living in Charleston if you have accessibility issues, if you have the mobility issues. Now, while she's talking to that specific person, let's think about who else would hear her message. People under 55 with mobility issues, yep, they're going to hear, because they also care about, where can I go to park when I go to a restaurant? What beaches are great to go to? What Airbnbs when I come to visit Charleston are good to go to? Parents of children with accessibility issues. If you have a child in a wheelchair or a child who uses a walker, you're going to be worried about those things. People over 55 who aren't worried about how they're getting around now, but she's still saying things that relate to them. People with older parents coming to visit Charleston. All of those people will hear her message. They will think of her when it's time to buy or sell their house. They will know that she understands their concerns and their needs. She knows the answer. She's built the know, like, and trust factors by telling her story and speaking directly to their pain points. She would have a very clear message. I help find homes so that you can continue to live an active lifestyle and not worry about getting around your home. If she chose to really niche down and focus on people in the Northeast or New Jersey, she can work with real estates up there. Maybe she talks about some restaurants in some of these places that have accessible. She tags them so people follow her. Do you start to see the point? Now, if she has a more general message, let's say just to everyone 55 and older, that's a smaller market than everyone. But if she's talking about, an accessible restaurant she went to, but then she's also talking about content about finances, retirement, home ownership, reasons to have a second home in Charleston, how to make your house an Airbnb, where to play pickleball, routine maintenance around a house, interest rates, buying a first home. All of those things are related to real estate, but all those things speak to someone, but combined, there's no clear message. It's just noise, and it's noise that they hear other places, and it's noise that just becomes white noise. She won't be known for anything. And she doesn't show any one person or any group that she's the go-to person for them, for their specific problems, and she can solve them. She's just another real estate agent. And let's think about it. If you were 65 and over and looking for a place to retire in Charleston, and just had a hip replacement, who are you going to listen to? Who are you going to do it? Now, why didn't she take our advice? Well, I'm going to be perfectly honest, because her broker, who's male and thinks he knows everything and in his 50s and younger, told her that she needed to never let anyone see her on social media, video, or otherwise with her cane. And her husband agreed with him. And she followed what they said. And she chose not to show that she walked with a cane, that she, had to be careful getting around places, because they convinced her that that was a liability, that people wouldn't want to work with an agent who had a cane, who didn't do well going up and down stairs. Guess what? If I don't do well with going upstairs, I'd rather have an agent who gets it. So, yeah, it makes a good example of showing how when you niche down, you can get very, very specific about talking to people and who you talk to. Because I promise you, if you try to talk to everyone, no one will hear you. Next week, we're going to discuss how you begin to find your dream ICA. If you want a sneak peek or you don't have an ICA, you can download my dream ICA worksheet. It's in the link for the show notes or in the email, depending on how you're watching this. If you're watching this on CoCreate's email newsletter, thank you very much for subscribing. We would love for you to forward this on to someone else and share it. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can hit the bell to be notified when new videos come up. You can hit the like button. That helps us. And the best thing is you can email, or you can join our newsletter list and have the videos sent directly to your inbox. So y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see you next week, where we can start talking about how you find that dream ICA.